Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your ridiculously good brother Anthony Florio, joined as always by the phenom Michael Bullock and the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, awaiting the presence of good old MF Michael Fletcher. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then I know we'll have him Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem at a special start time of 10 p.m. Eastern, by the way. So, man alive, I cannot recall a Monday Night Raw that has taken so much out of me. This was a very exhausting show this evening. This was probably the most wrestling heavy show in the history of Monday Night Raw. It kind of felt like one of those old school WrestleManias almost, where they had like 20 matches in a night. Because that's what it felt like this evening. So, but anyways, let's dive on in. Of course, Monday Night Raw, as always, from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And this will be the last live Monday Night Raw for quite some time, because starting this weekend, WWE will be taping several weeks and months of content. So enjoy this live show while you can. So without getting into much of it, without any more further ado, let's start it off. We had the WWE champion Drew McIntyre. He was in the ring, and he cuts a promo, and interrupted by Zelina Vega, and then he got sneak attacked by Andrade. But then McIntyre wound up getting the last laugh. So the segment made McIntyre look really good, but it's hard to get excited about a main event when the guy he's facing was afraid to go after him, even in a 3-on-1 situation. Well, unless you're into seeing the slaughter that McIntyre teased, which is something. So, not really much more to say on this. So, solid way to open the show. So, Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, like you said, it was a good way, a solid way to start off. Drew McIntyre looked good, but yeah, you made Angel Garza look scared. For a guy who's supposed to be in the main event, who is in the main event later on tonight, instead having Andrade be the one to take the brunt of the beating with a claymore from Drew McIntyre. And of course, also McIntyre basically trying to respond to what Seth Rollins did last week. So yeah, so nice way to start off. McIntyre looked good, but Angel Garza to me looked like a total buffoon. Yeah, you got him wrestling the WWE champion in the main event. Oof. I don't know. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Technically, all three of hers look like buffoons. Garza, Theory, and Andrade. They all three look like buffoons.
Including Zelina herself.
Oh, she looked pretty stupid the whole night, because the beginning of her night did not go her way, and it didn't end her way. She only had, maybe one match that went her way? But we'll get into that later. Yeah, the segment was kind of a mess, I would say, but Drew's part was great. He came out there, did what he planned on doing, and then you had I don't know what you want to call them, the Vega faction or something. I don't know, but you had them come out, and like I said, they just made themselves look pretty stupid the way they did it. And of course, here's Zelina barking off orders, and they're not doing anything other than running up to catch Andrade when he gets Claymored out of the ring. So, yeah, it was not a great night start for the show for them, but it was a great start for McIntyre. So, not much more to say about it. It's yours, Florio.
And we have good old MF Michael Fletcher. He has just joined us. So, MF, your thoughts on that opening segment with Drew McIntyre?
I'm not really going to speak too much about it, guys. Like Dee Dee said, it wasn't really a great start of the night for Andrade's crew. It was kind of out there. It was all kind of all over the place, so it wasn't really a perfect start to the show. But for what it was worth, it was okay, but nothing more to add on that. So let's just move right along, Anthony.
Fair enough. And we move on to the first of our 3 Money in the Bank qualifying matches. It was Aleister Black squaring off against Austin Theory. Winner of the match in approximately 11 minutes and 45 seconds, and qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match on the men's side, Aleister Black. MF, think about that. Aleister Black and Daniel Bryan in the same match. How does that sound?
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a great battle, no doubt about it, and it's gonna be exciting because you got definitely Daniel Bryan, basically a veteran, one of the big names in WWE, versus Aleister Black, who's an up and comer, a rising star, and to see these two men, technical sounded type wrestlers. Now, I don't know how they're going to be with the ladder, especially in play, but remember, they're starting on the ground floor. So you could imagine just the start, just these two trying to go up, all the way up to try to get to the roof. But once they get into certain areas of the ring, it's going to be very interesting to watch, and especially to be fighting at the WWE headquarters in Stamford, the Titan Tower as we know it. And for them, I think there's going to be some really good moments in that fight that could really give some nostalgia points for the fans, because that's, I think, the one thing that everybody's going to be looking forward to. It's going to be the nostalgia factor, seeing these two men go at it, fighting, battling, up and down. Who knows? Do they make it into that ring at the end to be fighting for the right to be Mr. Money in the Bank? We don't know. So at the end of the day, it was a solid fight. I'll give this about 3 stars for the effort, but the right man won, and it was a necessary victory. So nothing more to say. So Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it about 3, maybe teetering on 3.25 to say the very least. But yeah, the right person went over. I mean, but it felt so awkward. I mean, to see Aleister Black and his wife Zelina Vega at the same time. I mean, and basically Zelina tried to, well, shall we say, give her man the bad mouth, and yeah, and that didn't go so well for her. So,
but you have to give
yeah.
credit for Zelina to at least stay in character, especially in this match, because this had to been very, very, very weird for her. Her real life husband fighting one of her guys, Austin Theory, and she absolutely did a phenomenal job staying in character, playing that heel role, and literally, yeah, like you said, bad mouthing Aleister Black, being very professional in the onset. So no, give credit where credit's due to Zelina. That is not an easy job to do, especially the situation that they are in.
Yeah, and you could say, Fletch, it's almost like Zelina Vega was saying, you know what, honey, in real life you're my husband, but when it comes to tonight, Austin Theory is my husband. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Right man went over. Nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree on that one. It definitely would put anybody in a very awkward position, having to have one of the guys you manage go up against your own husband, and her trying to keep that professionalism through that. You know, you do have to give her credit where credit's due on that, because that would be, really, really hard, I think, for just about anybody to do. And here she did it and didn't even bat an eye. So yeah, hats off to her. She's not one of my favorite people, but this was definitely one time that that really impressed me, that she was able to do that and try to keep the look that they aren't a couple in real life when we know they are. So yeah, I definitely agree with the ratings. So like we said, not a good night for Zelina. Very bad rocky start. So not much more I'm going to say. It's yours, Florio.
Did you all notice, and Bullock and I noticed this when we had our Raw chat this evening, did you notice when Alistair hit the Black Mass on Austin there, did you see the look on Zelina's face on commentary? Did you see that look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Yeah, I saw the look.
Oh, and the Lawler joke that goes with that. So,
well,
but anyways, yeah, Zelina should definitely be commended for staying in character, even though that was her own husband in there. And Bullock and I had a lot of fun with it, believe that or not. But anyways, I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars for me. Another week, another excellent in-ring performance by Black, who continues to be the workhorse for Monday Night Raw. This week, he was instrumental in the continued growth of Austin Theory as a main roster competitor. He put over the Young Stars offense and even had him looking like he might steal a win from the Red Hot Black. In the end, though, he fought his way back into the bout before kicking Theory in the next week to earn his way to Money in the Bank. It was a strong, hard-hitting, and hard-fought match that was enhanced by the commentary team's efforts to put over both men. Black's post-match promo, in which he promised each floor of the WWE corporate building would represent hell for each of his opponents, was excellent and put over the fight that awaits his opponents. Overall, a much better start to the in-ring portion of the show than the promo segment. So that's really all there is to say on that. Mass cutouts on this show this evening. And we started it off, of course, Shayna Baszler squaring off against Indy Hartwell. And Shayna Baszler wins the match in a minute. Well, you know what she did. I mean, same thing that she did to Sarah Logan last week. Stepped on the arm, broke it, and caused the referee, Derek Moore, to throw it out and give Shayna the match. And then, but Shayna wasn't done. After that, she really went to town on her, swung her into the barricade, and then trapped her arm in a ladder and kicked it in. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, very tough to watch. If you thought last week was tough, this was even worse. So
yeah, if you don't like gruesome sights, I think it would have been a good time for people to turn away.
Yeah, if you're squeamish, you definitely were not feeling that. So, anyways, let's continue on here. Ricochet, Cedric Alexander against Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander win the match 3 minutes and 10 seconds. It was a simple spotlight win for Ricochet and Alexander that filled a few minutes of TV time. Basically, it's a thriller. I mean, it's a filler rather. That's all there is to say on that. So, moving on, Nia Jax against Kairi Sane. Of course, one thing Monday Night Raw has been notorious for the last few years since this whole thing started: repetitiveness, and this was repetitive. Nia Jax against Kairi Sane. Nia Jax winning the match 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Match was a bit more competitive than last week, with Sane targeting Jax's knee. Outcome was never in doubt, and the end result was the same. It's easier to do heel matches without a crowd present because you don't get the awkward silence from fans who don't know which wrestler to root for. But the question is whether these matches without a definitive babyface are keeping viewers engaged. Then we had a backstage a little vignette promo segment with Seth Rollins. and it appeared that it was something that he did from his home or somewhere outside of the performance center because it didn't have the high level sound that we normally get. But nonetheless, it is official. Seth Rollins will challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on May 10th. So no surprise there. Moving on. The next Money in the Bank qualifying matchup, we had Apollo Crews squaring off against MVP. And look at this. Apollo Crews wins the match 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Michael Bullock, there's no question about it, the biggest win of Apollo Crews' career. Could it lead to an even bigger win at Money in the Bank? It remains to be seen.
Yeah, like you said, that remains to be seen. But yeah, definitely a big win for Apollo Crews. I mean, yeah, now he takes one big step further into hopefully getting that Money in the Bank contract. Whether he'll do it or not remains to be seen. But anywho, I thought this was an alright match. It was really nothing that special to write home about. I'll give it about maybe 2.5 for the effort. So, Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, it was a solid match. A good win for Crews. Looks like they're trying to rebuild his character a little bit, which is good because he needed a new shot and a new chance to move forward and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna give it about 2.5. So yeah, solid match, good win for Crews. This is another one where the ending really wasn't that much in doubt. I think most people knew that MVP wasn't going to be going into Money in the Bank, but still, it was a good win, and I'm glad to see Crews getting this new shot. So it's yours for you.
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me as well. This was a fine enough match with the right outcome. Both wrestlers worked hard, and it showed. Though the commercial break hurt the flow of the bout. Crews fired up and showed his athleticism, but one has to wonder if he would not have been better suited squaring off with a young star who could keep up with his work. With that said, MVP continues to impress on the mic and did a great job of telling the story of the match before the bell even rang. He still has a ton to offer the industry, even though his days as a full-time in-ring performer are just about over. But nonetheless, the biggest win of Apollo Crews' career. This is to the men's match what Dana Brooke is to the women's match, winning that. So nice win for Crews. So MF, Apollo Crews, biggest win of his career. Could it lead to an even bigger win down the line?
I really doubt he's going to win Money in the Bank, but it's a nice win. I just don't see him as one of the favorites. I don't. And right now, with Aleister Black and with Apollo Crews being your Raw representatives, along with Daniel Bryan, who's our representative for SmackDown. I hate to say it, but I would probably say advantage SmackDown right now when it comes to the battle. I mean, I don't see Aleister Black winning. I don't see Apollo Crews winning Money in the Bank unless there's a big name on the Raw end coming. I'm sorry, man. I don't see it. At least with the women, I think one of the women on Raw is going to win the women's Money in the Bank. For the men's right now, I could legitly see Daniel Bryan winning right now. Like, if you want me to put my money on it, as of right now, I would say Daniel Bryan, and this is before everybody else is added in. But if the fight was happening tonight, Daniel Bryan would be the odds-on favorite, no doubt about it. So I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. Anthony, it's yours, and I'll give this about 2 to 2.5 stars.
Fair enough. Let's get back to the cutouts here. Speaking of big wins, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan went up against her former Riot Squad bestie, Ruby Riott. Liv Morgan wins the match 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And yeah, I mean, big win for this. This could probably be Liv Morgan's biggest win to date. I mean, or one of. I mean, if you want to argue the win over Natalia, probably the Natalia one was bigger, but this definitely is getting up there. Let me see. You know, you could hear both of them. I mean, it was one of the matches where the vocals of the performers really helped elevate it. Ruby talked trash the entire way through, really looking to get in the head of her former teammate. When she did it late, it cost her as Morgan scored the upset win. That little bit of vocalization added a story to the commentary team and already laid out for the viewing audience, and the result was a solid presentation. Phillips and Saxton put over Morgan's victory as allowing her to move on from Riot and her old squad. Perhaps this means Morgan will finally be able to build on her buzzy return earlier this year and her win over Natalia at WrestleMania Kickoff. Where that leaves the criminally underrated Ruby Riott remains to be seen. So that's really all I can say on that. So moving on, more Lana and Lashley nonsense. Moving on to our third and final Money in the Bank qualifying match. Rey Mysterio versus Murphy. Rey Mysterio wins the match 15 minutes and 5 seconds. So you have your Raw representatives for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match: Aleister Black, Apollo Crews, and the veteran Rey Mysterio, which makes sense, obviously, because you need a veteran presence in that match. So, Didi Woodson, how do you like the Raw side of the men's match?
Not bad. I'd say that's a pretty good lineup compared to what they could have done. I mean, like I said, MVP being in there definitely would not have been the right choice. So putting Rey in there was the better choice for the veteran. I thought this was a really good match. These two worked really good off of each other. And of course, we had the vocalization in this one as well. And you know, they told the great story where, you know, and Murphy looked good with his loss. I'm going to give it about 3.5 stars. I mean, this was definitely one of the best matches of the night. There, no hands down on that. It was definitely one of the best matches, and these guys really brought it, and they really showed, you know, that how much they want to be in this. You know, Murphy doing it, I think, more for Seth Rollins than for himself, but still, they showed in the end, you know, that they both deserved at least the chance to be in this, and the better man did win. So, not much more I'm going to say. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 3.5 stars here, maybe even 3 3/4 of a star. I mean, one of the top matches of the night, absolutely. This was a damn good match between two guys who have been responsible for high quality bouts more than a few times over their careers. Murphy and Mysterio showcased some excellent in-ring chemistry, and you know, it leaves me wondering what they might be capable of with more time in a pay-per-view setting. Mysterio winning makes sense given the context of the story they told and commentary put over, but one has to wonder how many losses Murphy can take before he becomes just another lackey for Seth Rollins. Given his absence of late and the fact that there was very little mention of Rollins and Murphy's narrative throughout the match, one has to wonder if WWE Creative isn't phasing that part of the Monday Night Messiah's presentation out. If so, that would be a major blow to Murphy's status with the brand. But nitpick aside, very fun match, a very enjoyable match, and now we have a more than capable veteran who can really get the men's Money to Make ladder match off the ground and then some. So 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star for me. So MF, when I heard this match was happening, I said it had show stealer potential, and damn it to hell, it did.
This was the fight of the night. 3.5 stars for me. This was an excellent match. This was a very good battle. This actually played very well to the story. Rey Mysterio is the veteran presence that Monday Night Raw needed. you can definitely say that if they didn't want to go with the young man, with a younger talent guy to be the winner, that you could see Ray be the guy to win it and to win Money in the Bank. I guess it kind of depends on who they want, or I guess I could say it'll probably depend on who they will eventually have at the end. But expect Ray to have at least a couple of high moments in the fight. Expect him to, really be an interesting player in the match. And, regardless of his age, he also is a high flyer. So you could even see a couple of high spots from Rey Mysterio, where I guess we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But you could tell he's gonna be utilized pretty well, especially being in that setting, being at the WWE headquarters, especially trying to work his way up to the roof, and where the Money in the Bank is going to be suspended. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be interesting to see and how that will come out and look. So nothing more to say. Solid 3.5 stars, fight of the night, and it's all yours.
Bullock.
Bullock.
Yeah, 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I totally agree with the rating. I mean, yeah, you needed that veteran presence for that Money in the Bank ladder match, and Rey Mysterio certainly provides it. I mean, right now Raw looks good when it comes to this, but to me, ask me again later when the SmackDown side is complete, because right now you got Daniel Bryan, so who knows who else is going to be in it. So if you get 2 other good stars on SmackDown, I just may have to give the edge to them. But for right now, I'm giving the edge to Monday Night Raw when it comes to this. So nothing more to say. Florio, let's move on.
And we move on. We go back to the cutout matches. NXT Women's Champion, the Queen Charlotte Flair, squaring off against NXT's upstart Kaden Carter. Charlotte Flair wins the match, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I mean, I don't know what Kaden Carter got more offense in on Charlotte than you may have expected, but the rush nature of the bout really hurt its quality. It was messy at times, despite strong efforts from both women. Never really reached the quality of match we have come to expect from the Queen. Even with that said, it was a great representation of what we can come to expect from Flair as she sets out to elevate the credibility of the NXT women's division. So that's all there is to say on that. And then we had a non-title matchup, the United States Heavyweight Champion Andrade squaring off against Akira Tozawa. Andrade, he wins the match, 4 minutes and 55 seconds. I'll tell you, it was a fun match. Tozawa had a really good showing in defeat, which he should, given that he just beat Isaiah Swerve Scott in the interim cruiserweight title tournament opener. Zelina Vega did a really nice job of expressing concern, only to act like the outcome was never in doubt after Andrade won. So that's all there is to say on that. Then we had another women's bout. Bianca Belair going up against one of our dear friend Matt Ward's personal favorites, Santana Garrett. I'm sure he was marking seeing her. But Bianca Belair, she won the match, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Basically, it was a showcase for Bianca Belair, who dominated the match, while the Street Profits made way too much noise on commentary. I'm all for extra noise from wrestlers at ringside, but that was just obnoxious through the headset mics. Sorry to say, even though I love these guys. But nonetheless, we move on to the main event. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre going up against Angel Garza. Drew McIntyre wins the match in 5 minutes and 5 seconds. I mean, this was basically, a showcase for Drew McIntyre. But there was one thing that really caught my eye during this bout. And Michael Bullock, you know where I'm going with this. We couldn't believe when we saw this. Drew McIntyre with a tope con hilo. Are you kidding me?
When did he pull that out of the hat?
I don't have any idea. I mean, that's the first time we've ever seen him do anything like that.
No, he did. He used to do that in ICW. It's just WWE was just very restricted on his moveset. Obviously, a big guy like him, you worry about him getting hurt or something like that. So obviously, there was a little bit of a concern. You hold your breath, but for him to do a tope con hilo, I was like, God damn it, Drew. I was like, I haven't seen you do that since you hit it on Grado at Fear and Loathing for the ICW heavyweight title. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my. But I'm not gonna have you guys get into this because it was basically a showcase for the champ, and I'll tell you, the champ looked real good. I mean, and that it definitely made me very happy, no question about that. I mean, it's exactly what you want. I mean, you put the title on him, you got to make him look the absolute best that you can, and that's exactly what they did this evening with Drew McIntyre. Everything that Paul Heyman, the creative and executive director, everything he accomplished last week in building up Zelina Vega's faction was erased this week when Drew McIntyre bowled them all over with little to no real threat and comically left them lying like jokes. Commentary team even yucking it up to end the show. It's long been an issue within WWE that so much effort and emphasis is put into building baby faces that the company oftentimes forgets the value of heels to program against them. Hulk Hogan was only as great a babyface as he was because he had Rowdy Roddy Piper to play off of, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, of course, had Vince McMahon. But Drew McIntyre could have had a hell of a trio to play off of for the next few months, all while combating Seth Rollins. But he completely erased their credibility in one night. Why bother spending that much TV time in consecutive weeks on Zelina Vega, Andrade, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory if this was the outcome? Even though I am all for Drew McIntyre getting the big rub because he damn sure deserves it. So I don't know, but that's all there is to say on that. So let's get into our overall thoughts. I said it at the start. I'll say it again. Tonight, this show definitely dragged. It was a step back from last week, I think, though still more entertaining than that rough night after WrestleMania WrestleMania show, rather. The Money in the Bank qualifying matches helped last week's shows, but all of tonight's matches felt predictable. They really need to shake things up rather than being so formula with their match outcomes. But Rey Mysterio and Murphy, they definitely stole the show this evening. Great matchup with those two, and as well as Aleister Black and Austin Theory. Those were the two matches. Those are the two matches you really got to go out of your way to see. Other than that, there's really nothing much to really go out of your way to see. So that's really all I can say on this. So, of course, our decree for any new viewers out there. We're not going to give any overall ratings because of the current conditions right now. But we will do that once they, decide, okay, we can start having fans again, and we can get out of the Performance Center and what have you. So, God willing, that'll come soon, but we don't know when. But that's all there is to say on this. So, MF, I can honestly say in over 27 years of Monday Night Raw, I have never recalled a Monday Night Raw that was so wrestling heavy. This was the most wrestling heavy show I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was certainly wrestling heavy, and they needed it to do it wrestling heavy because you got to keep the fans entertained as best as you can, and under the circumstances, under the situations that's been going on. And a lot of the times, wrestling heavy shows are great, but when you put the matches that you had out there tonight, it's a snake bit. And basically, we're looking for the venom right now to try to cure WWE, because right now they got injected with some snake poison tonight. That was not a good show at all. Definitely Monday Night Raw took a couple of steps back. You're absolutely right about that, Anthony. Lo and behold, hopefully they'll get better. But yeah, this was somewhat of a letdown, to say the very least. And there's really nothing more for us to add here. So, Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you quickly.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. I mean, they did take a couple of steps back. They really need to get better if they want to produce some good shows. But tonight certainly was not it. I mean, yeah, we finally did find out the Raw side of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, this might have been a wrestling heavy show, but you could do less matches in a wrestling heavy show and have better quality matches compared to trying to squeeze 11 matches into one night. I mean, that's a little ridiculous, a little redundant, and definitely something they don't need to do. If you can't come up with 3 hours of half decent content, don't do a 3-hour show. Plain and simple. You know, cut back to 2 hours if you can't fill the 3 hours properly, and give us something that's worth, you know, sitting there for 3 hours to watch. This definitely was not worth that. Like Floyo said, there's only 2 half decent matches that you could even, you know, watch that had any relevance or anything. You know, I don't know what else to say. It's just it was not a very good night. It was lousy. So yeah, I'll hopefully see you guys Wednesday night. So good night.
All right, good night, Dee Dee. We'll see you hopefully on Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem. Special start time, 10 p.m. Eastern. So that's all there is to that. Immediately following NXT and AEW. So all right, now when it comes to my Tony's take, there will be Impact Wrestling. However, there will not be 205 Live. Reason being is because last week's show was really more of a best of show, if I can call it that. They had the Brian Kendrick show off, give us a couple of matches that I guess inspired him to be a wrestler, I guess, or something like that. But I'll tell you what, the 2 matches he picked, great choices. WrestleMania 6, the Ultimate Challenge with Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. You know the story of that match. And the Brian Kendrick said that main event made him want to get into wrestling. So the Brian Kendrick looked at 2 influential bouts that impacted his career. The Ultimate Challenge from WrestleMania 6. We all know how that ended. The Ultimate Warrior defeated Hulk Hogan to win the World Wrestling Federation Championship. 22 minutes and 50 seconds was the time of the fall on that one. And then the other was from 2016, the Cruiserweight Classic. The match that he had against Kota Ibushi, which Kota Ibushi won in 13 minutes and 57 seconds, which to me was a 5-star classic. And, you know how much I praised that match. So really nothing to really speak of when it comes to 205 Live. But when it comes to Impact Wrestling, we got a lot to speak of here. Oh, we do. First, let's get into Impact Wrestling. This is the final Impact Wrestling taping that's going to have a crowd, because effective this week and forward, they too will be just like WWE and AEW. They're going to be taping without fans. So we started it off with Johnny Swinger against this old man named Mike Jackson, and Swinger wins the match 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm not even going to dignify this with a thought, so I'm just going to move on. The Rascals versus Triple XL, Reno Scum, TJP, Fallah. This is a number one contenders match for the World Tag Team Championships. Winners of the match in 11 minutes and 10 seconds. TJP and Fallah, they win the match. It was a 3-star match. Started slow, picked up, and by the end was entertaining and a lot of fun. And during this match, I sent a video to Michael Bullock on our but that I shared only between me and him. AC Romero of Triple XL, he's a big dude. He's about 400 plus pounds. And he did, to me, what I consider the largest tope suicida in captivity. I mean, you got to see it to believe it. I mean, I'm like, I got to send this to Bullock. MF, I mean, AC Romero is 400 plus pounds, and he did a tope suicida?
Dude, I remember AC Romero. I've seen AC Romero. I actually got to hang out with AC Romero one time.
No kidding.
No, dead serious. No bullshit.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's excitement. It's okay. It's excitement. It's excitement. Go. It's okay. It's excitement.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right. What happened was, and I guess I'll do this as an exclusive. I'll throw it. I was at the Chop Shop in Providence, Rhode Island, and this was the day when I interviewed
Triplicious.
So okay, so I did the interview earlier in the afternoon, and then a couple of the guys got to see me. They saw me there, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you just stick around? Well, you can watch the you can do your, you can watch. It was a practice. They were going to do some a training session at the area. So I actually got in, and I was watching AC Romero, and he was working with one of my good friends, Jammin' Jack Connor, another guy I actually did an exclusive interview with. So they actually did an impromptu fight, one-on-one match, Romero versus Connor, and AC Romero won the match. But I actually got to see them really more in the way of, how they train, how they work out, how they, it's almost like I got my own version of Tough Enough. I got to see a Tough Enough session right before my very eyes. And as far as the match goes, this was legit. Referee was there. I was actually a special timekeeper for the fight. So I saw an official RWA wrestling match right before my very eyes. And instead of me being a member of the audience, I actually was involved with the match. So it was awesome. It was awesome seeing it from that landscape. And AC Romero, back then he was actually at 355 pounds when he fought that night.
He's got to be a lot more now.
He is. I don't think he's 400 though. I think he's close to like 390. So I think they exaggerated about the 400, but I think he's like 390 in real life.
398.
Yeah. So
I just got this off his Wikipedia. 398 pounds, just about 400, just north of 400.
Yep.
And
oh yeah, he's incredible. Some of the moves he does, you ain't seen nothing yet. He has gone on to do some real awesome things in his career. So yeah, I'm very proud of the guy.
I have never in my life seen a guy of that size do a tope suicida.
Oh yeah.
My God.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I sent it to Bullock, and Bullock couldn't even believe it. So, man alive. But nonetheless, TJP and Fallah Bahh, they won the match, and they will be challenging the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, for the World Tag Team Championships. So there you have it. Rohit Raju against Sean Hernandez. Sean Hernandez squashes him in 1 minute and 15 seconds. This was an absolute dud. They hyped that Raju has an important Rebellion bout, and he gets completely squashed by a guy who was making a cameo appearance. Unless this is leading to Raju breaking from Gamma and Desi Head Squad, this was stupid booking. Then we had X Division champion Ace Austin against Trey Miguel. Ace Austin wins the match 6 minutes, 10 seconds. 3-star match. It was a short, fun, and good little sprint. Taya Valkyrie against Tennille Dashwood. Tennille Dashwood wins the match 16 minutes and 15 seconds. 2.5 stars. It was solid, but I'm confused by the booking. It was originally announced as Jordynne Grace defending against Taya at Rebellion in a Full Metal Mayhem match, so unless that changed, I don't get it. I hope they're not going to do what they did at the last pay-per-view with ODB and add Tennille to the bout. I just want a proper Taya versus Jordynne one-on-one match. And then we had the contract signing with Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. And, well, it didn't end well. You already knew that. So okay. It was a 6.5 out of 10 on this show. Solid show. Some good action I enjoyed. The Rebellion build. Nice flow to the show. Questionable booking, though. I also didn't feel the big push buzz for Rebellion like I do with most Impact pay-per-views. But I do think that Impact making it into a 2-week TV special was the right move, even if this show didn't feel didn't have that personal feel that I had to do it next week. But the pay-per-views tend to deliver, and I'm hoping that it'll be the same over the next 2 weeks. So 6.5 out of 10 for that. Now, some news that has come out of this. Unfortunately, well, actually, the second night will be revealed following the first night. So there's got to be more than this that meets the eye. But anyways, what we had here was let's run down what we can expect. Now, as you know, starting tomorrow night and into next week, this Rebellion event was originally scheduled to go down last night at the Terminal 5 in New York City, but unfortunately, because of Corona Mania continuing to run wild, they too got heave-hoed out of there. They got kiboshed. But there will be a two week event, and it'll begin tomorrow night at 8 p.m. over on Access TV with an encore at 11, as always. Also on Twitch, if you can't watch it on Twitch with MF, because that's where MF will have it. It's also going to be on the Fight Network in Canada and Twitch.tv. There you go. So we'll have that. Now, this was taped from the Skyway Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. And what we can expect for night one will be the 3 members of OVE, Dave and Jake Chris with Madman Fulton. They're going to square off against Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, and a mystery partner in a 6-man tag team matchup. Ace Austin will defend the X Division Championship against Willie Mack. Kylie Ray will make her pay-per-view debut. She will square off against Kiera Hogan. And in the night one main event, it will be Ken Shamrock going up against Sami Callihan. Now, as far as night 2 is concerned, as of now, this is what's been announced, though. What's been announced is Jordynne Grace will indeed defend the Knockouts Championship against Taya Valkyrie in a Full Metal Mayhem match, and a 4-way match with Chris Bay versus Suicide versus Trey Miguel versus Rohit Raju. Unfortunately, there was some bad news to report. The World Heavyweight Champion Tessa Blanchard, she did not travel to the tapings. So unfortunately, that huge triple threat main event with her, Eddie Edwards, and Michael Elgin, unfortunately, will not happen. With Impact having last week recorded enough content to see them through another 7 weeks of TV, Tessa was absent. Wrestling Observer said that she did not attend this most recent set of tapings. It's believed that she made the decision not to travel for these tapings with concerns, obviously, over the coronavirus and the whole 9 yards, seemingly being the main factor. Nobody can throw shade at Tessa for opting out. That does mean that the most anticipated match of Rebellion is off, or at least postponed for the foreseeable future. No confirmation right now on exactly which talents did partake in this latest bout of tapings, but Shamrock and Callahan will headline tomorrow night's show, and we know any Canada-based talents were not available for these tapings due to restrictions. And unfortunately, one of the members of the North, if not both members of the North, are Canadian, and unfortunately, we don't get to see them defend their World Tag Team titles like we know the Deuce. So, we're just going to have to tune in tomorrow night, and hopefully I will have more information on what we can expect for night 2 next week. So that's it. That'll put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in this evening. We're gonna next be with you, as MF announced. If you missed the show last week, MF made a very nice announcement, a very welcome announcement, that this Wednesday and Friday we're gonna be starting those shows at a special start time of 10 p.m. Eastern time. So immediately following NXT and AEW on Wednesday night. Is that correct, MF?
That is correct. Wednesday night is going to be Wednesday Night Dynamite and AEW, and NXT recaps at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then on Thursday, now this is not an official show. So this is not the official show. At 8 p.m. Eastern, we are going to do a live broadcast of the NFL draft, the first round only, and I'm going to open it up. So, Anthony, you're more than welcome. Michael Bullock is more than welcome. I am actually going to bring my friends from the Discord, my Discord crew, and I'm going to see if they're interested in joining, and we might do an actual draft party. Have everybody there. There's a whole bunch of guys. I'm going to tell you right now, be prepared. I might have to put the over 18 label on it. So, just a warning. However, Saturday night, then Friday is, Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, is the other half of the show. Saturday night, I'm going to make a time, probably 9 p.m., and that night will be the official Strictly Sports NFL Draft Special. So, Saturday night will be that night where we'll give the letter grade of all 32 teams, because by then the draft will be over. And Anthony, you should have enough time to rally your notes on your 32 teams.
Absolutely.
So Saturday night we'll do that.
Okay. All right. So you heard it. Wednesday night at 10, it'll be Wednesday Night Mayhem hosted by MF. Friday night at 10 will be the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, and I'm going to be hosting that show, I'm sure, right? Because I am the Strictly Sports guy. So
yes, you're hosting it.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. So so that'll be 9 p.m. Saturday night. That's fine. So I'm hopeful that we can get that done quickly as we can, because that's a lot of content to get into, but we'll work it out. So a special Saturday at 9, our NFL Draft recap edition of Strictly Sports, right then and there. So good idea. So all right. So with that being said, that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, this is your Ridiculously Over good brother Anthony Florio here. On behalf of our crew, Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Didi Whitson, and always and forever Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up, Talk to you later. Yeah, I throw it up watching 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night, for Wednesday Night Mayhem over on MX Channel Brace 95, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on Atone 25 on YouTube, streamer.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, in the Floyo so long, bye, everybody, bye.